So here at our insect station, what we're doing is we've been taking an up-close look at an insect called a best beetle. And this is a beetle that a lot of people haven't seen before because it's found inside of decaying logs. So it's feeding inside of old wood. And we love this beetle because it's super gentle and we can get an up-close look at the parts of an insect and the things that make an insect an insect. And so as kids have been coming by, we're able to do things like flip this little guy over and count the legs, and we can see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs, like all insects. And again, because it's a little bit bigger, we're able to see all of that. We can also really clearly see that insects have 3 body regions. They have a head where all the sensory structures are located, like the antennae, the mouth parts, and the eyes. They have a thorax where all of the locomotory appendages are attached, so the legs and the wings are attached to this middle part of the body. And they have an abdomen, and the abdomen is where all of the digestion and takes place inside of the insect. And so we can see those really clearly. And the other cool thing about this guy is that it also makes a squeaking sound. And so usually people know that grasshoppers and crickets make sounds, but other kinds of insects make sounds too. And this guy is no different. And so if we hold him up close to our ear, we can hear a little squeaking sound. And so that's another fun thing about this particular insect.
Everyone, I'm Sephra Alexandra. I'm the lead of the Ecotype project for CT NOFA, the Northeast Organic Farming Association. And we are so delighted and honored to be at the Catherine Violet Hubbard Animal Sanctuary, where this gorgeous Ecotype pollinator garden has been planted. Thanks to Darryl Newman and to all the great volunteers who made this possible, because what the Ecotype project is and what an ecotype is it's talking about the very specific genetics of our local wild plants. So what we do is we work with botanists who in a very sustainable way go and wild collect the seeds that are truly from here so that these are truly local natives. What we're doing is we're putting the right plants back in the right place, because what happens is, like you see dandelions when they let their seeds go, that's called anemochory, and that is seed dispersal by wind. So now that all of these beautiful wild plants are back here, what's gonna happen? They're gonna go to seed. And then when the beautiful wind blows, then those seeds are spread all throughout this living seed bank seed profile. What does that do? That makes this whole beautiful area proliferated with these wonderful flowers that bloom at different times of the season, that have different flower sizes to help host different pollinators. What we wanna do is make sure that just like this beautiful sanctuary is here, the more people that plant these in their backyard, each of your homes are sanctuaries as well, because we're not just homeowners, we're land stewards. And even if we can plant these little habitats on our farms, in our landscapes, in these beautiful shared spaces, the more way stations our pollinators have along these pollinator pathways, the more we can reduce the fragmentation of our cultivated lands by allowing these wild pockets. The healthier our ecosystem, the healthier our pollinators, the more local produce we can have, and you wanna know what? The more just beauty we have surrounding us. So thank you so much. And the coolest thing I've seen, if you look right here, there's a monarch chrysalis. We didn't put that there. All natural, that I think is saying the Ecotype project is hopefully doing some beautiful things.
Hi, I'm Ken from the Audubon Center Bent to the River in Southbury, and while other groups have been around looking for the different insects that are out here and learning their names, what we've been examining is not just their names, but more importantly what each of the insects are doing in the environment. That we are very excited to have pollinators helping to make sure our flowers are able to produce seeds and new flowers in the future. But there are a lot of other insects hiding in our meadow this time of year that have been really fun to look at and see their body parts, their special adaptations to survive out here, and what their jobs are in the environment that might be a little bit different. So today we found some milkweed bugs, which are bright red and have a black X on their back, that these insects have sucking mouthpieces that we can get to see in the magnifier, and then we know that their job is to be drinking up the sap of the milkweed plants. Most exciting is we did find one praying mantis. The wind today probably has a lot of them hiding deeper in the vegetation, so we didn't get to see all of them, but we are going to get to look at a very cool praying mantis, see its compound eyes, we can even see its chewing mouthpieces, and of course those legs for grasping and grabbing at the other insects that it wants to eat. We did find a few spiders. They aren't insects, but they're allies, although the insects probably don't consider that, because what do the spiders eat? The other insects. And very also cool was that we found on the goldenrod, which was where most of the insects were found today, it looks like a bloom of another goldenrod about to form. This is actually an insect home, a gall, that the female laid its eggs inside the stem of the plant, and when she laid them, she also produced a chemical that made the stem stop growing, and instead it produces a whole lot of extra leaves. So this becomes a very camouflaged home for insects, and the larvae are now living inside. We've cut one open and you can get to see that there are 2 larvae inside, little very clear colored caterpillar-like animals, and they're going to grow up to be midges, which are, they look like large mosquitoes, but the good news is that those big, giant, oversized mosquitoes you see at your porch light in the middle of the summer, those midges are eating other insects like the mosquitoes for us. So we found some very beneficial insects this afternoon here at the sanctuary. Very fun afternoon.
Hi, my name is Sandy Schill and I live here in Sandy Hook, and today we're talking to people about monarch butterflies. And one of the reasons that monarch butterflies are very unique to the other butterflies in our area is they fly to Mexico for the winter. So a lot of butterflies in the area stay the winter, but these travel about 3,000 miles to overwinter in Mexico. One thing that people don't know about monarch caterpillars is when they form their chrysalis, it actually comes from underneath their skin. They hang upside down by their feet, and almost like feety pajamas, as I describe it to children. Imagine if you unzip your feety pajamas and you wiggle them up to your feet while you're hanging upside down. The chrysalis comes from underneath their skin, where a lot of people feel like it's spun from the outside. So the kids find that very interesting. They also find it very interesting that from egg to chrysalis, it's about 2 weeks, and the caterpillar grows and eats and grows during that 2 weeks, and they grow about 3,000%. So I equate that to a child. Imagine if you were born and 2 weeks later you were the size of a school bus. And the kids really find that interesting, and they're like, oh my God. When they turn dark like that, you can literally see the butterfly through the clear chrysalis. The chrysalises are actually clear. When you see the green ones, that's the primordial ooze, for lack of a better term, that the guts turn into before they rearrange into a butterfly. So these are...
So this one has, they all have these ridges at the top here, and this one is starting to separate, and that's when we know that it's going to come out soon.
Yep. And when they come out, their bellies are really large and their wings are really tiny. And they literally pump the fluid from their abdomen into their wings to stretch them out.
Pollinators are important because they complete an incredibly critical loop. So from the plants you see here, pollinator supporting species, particularly the ones that are grown from local seed, like this golden Alexander, which is Zizia aurea, an early blooming critical nectar source for spring. Very, very pretty yellow flower. Your red cardinal flower and your mountain mint over here. These plants in the flats were carefully cultivated from actual local seed sources. So those are uniquely adapted to our particular climate and the challenges that go with it. And not just the weather, but also the soils, the more general environment as a whole.